When the cameras started flashing at the 2025 New York City Gala, no one expected the night's spotlight to shift from celebration to chaos. Meghan Markle, once again, took center stage for all the wrong reasons. The former Duchess reportedly lost her composure backstage after Dame Helen Mirren delivered what many described as a masterclass in poise and authenticity, a speech that drew standing ovations and subtly dismantled Meghan's highly rehearsed performance earlier in the evening. Witnesses from the event revealed that Meghan's face changed instantly as Helen's words struck the room, words that many interpreted as a graceful but pointed reminder of humility and grace, two qualities critics often say Meghan performs rather than possesses. What made the moment even more explosive was how visibly Meghan reacted. Multiple insiders described her leaving the table during Helen's speech, whispering intensely to her assistant, and later returning with a strained smile that did little to mask her anger. Those close to the production said Meghan had spent weeks perfecting her address, a dramatic, self-referential monologue about breaking free from the crown's shadow and defining your own narrative. But when Helen took the stage immediately after and spoke about serving the craft, not the crown, the contrast was brutal. The audience reportedly erupted in applause that lasted longer than Meghan's own, prompting murmurs across the ballroom. According to one witness, Meghan looked like she wanted the floor to open and swallow her. By the time the cameras rolled for the post-event interviews, the tension was unmistakable. Meghan's usual composure had cracked. She fumbled through quick answers, visibly avoiding any reference to Helen's speech. In stark contrast, Helen appeared calm, witty, and unbothered, giving off the effortless grace that made the night hers. What truly sealed the embarrassment was when Graham Norton, on his show the following evening, replayed snippets of both speeches and jokingly asked, "Was Meghan auditioning for a Netflix monologue, or was that supposed to be a speech?" The audience burst into laughter. Graham's sarcasm hit home. It was the kind of public ribbing that Meghan and Harry's PR team have spent years trying to avoid. What's fascinating about this latest episode is how it exposes the growing disconnect between Meghan's perception of herself and how the public sees her. While her camp reportedly insists she was simply passionate and deeply moved by the event, others say her tantrum backstage was anything but graceful. Sources close to the organizers said Meghan complained that the spotlight was stolen from her, accusing Helen of intentionally overshadowing her moment. That accusation didn't sit well with others at the gala, especially considering Helen had been invited to speak weeks before Meghan's name was even confirmed. It's a pattern, critics argue. Meghan enters a space, expects center stage, and erupts when reality doesn't bend to her expectations. Observers couldn't help but notice how this incident mirrors her long-standing image issues. Since stepping back from royal duties, Meghan has tried to carve a space as a global humanitarian and brand visionary. But moments like this remind people of the theatrics behind her public persona. Every time she takes the stage, it seems less about the cause and more about the performance. Her speeches, though polished, often come off as self-referential, more about Meghan's personal journey than the issue at hand. And when a seasoned figure like Helen Mirren, known for her humility and authenticity, follows that act, the difference becomes painfully visible. Meghan's frustration wasn't just about being upstaged, it was about being unmasked. Back in London, royal commentators wasted no time dissecting the fallout. Some suggested that Meghan's tantrum could further strain her already fragile reputation with major event organizers. After all, the NYC Gala was meant to be her opportunity to rebuild credibility and pivot away from the celebrity victim narrative that has followed her for years. Instead, she managed to feed it. Even American outlets typically softer on her picked up on the story, noting how her demeanor shifted throughout the night. One headline bluntly read, "Meghan Markle upstaged by real royalty Helen Mirren." It was brutal, but accurate. The irony? Meghan has long positioned herself as the independent voice freed from monarchy, yet here she was, being outshone by an actress who's literally played the Queen. Meanwhile, Graham Norton's cheeky segment on his show became an overnight sensation online. Fans clipped and shared it, flooding social media with reactions and side-by-side comparisons of the two speeches. Hashtags like Helen outclassed Meghan and NYC Gala meltdown trended within hours. For Meghan, whose team meticulously manages her image, this was a PR nightmare. Instead of headlines about empowerment, she woke up to headlines about ego. It's telling how quickly public sympathy evaporates when the facade of humility slips, and this event showed exactly that. The tantrum narrative stuck not because people hate Meghan, but because it fits too perfectly into the pattern she's built for herself. Now, sources close to the Sussex camp are reportedly in damage control mode, reaching out to outlets to clarify the misunderstanding. But the truth is, perception often outweighs explanation. Meghan's post-gala silence spoke louder than any PR statement could. While Helen continued her media rounds gracefully discussing women in film and mentorship, Meghan vanished from view, skipping scheduled interviews. For someone who's built her brand on being seen and heard, that silence was deafening. Her absence didn't feel strategic, it felt reactive. And in the age of 24-hour commentary, silence after humiliation often reads as confirmation. What makes this moment pivotal is how it might redefine Meghan's trajectory in public life. This wasn't just another celebrity feud or awkward event moment, it was a test of grace under pressure, and she failed it publicly. Helen Mirren didn't destroy Meghan with insults or confrontation, she did it with dignity, composure, and the kind of quiet confidence Meghan's brand keeps promising but never quite delivers. As Graham Norton quipped in closing his segment, sometimes, you don't need to raise your voice to win the room, you just need to mean what you say. That line summed up the night. In a single gala, Meghan's practiced charisma met Helen's effortless authenticity, and the result was a masterclass in who truly commands the stage.